Howdy, so I got to preview this game called SENARA the Sacrament. This is a new horror experience, and it takes place on this freight ship. And what's cool about this is the developers actually did a full model scan of an actual ship, this Korean ship, and then they put it into the game, so it's fully accurate in terms of its layout and design, which I thought was really cool. But to sum up what the experience of this game is, it's Resident Evil. It's pretty much first-person Resident Evil. It feels like you're playing Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Village. That's what the inspirations of this game are from. It's really obvious from the get-go. You're walking around, you pick up a weapon, you have ammo, you have inventory management, you have places to put your inventory, and you have a map system very similar to a Resident Evil game where it's like, oh, here's the map of this floor. This is a room I have explored. This is a room where I haven't explored. And you're just trying to find the item that you need to open the next door and get through it. That's what it is. It has puzzle elements as well, similar to Resident Evil type, where you have to like gather all the pieces to open the door. And there's enemy zombie sort of evil creatures that you can shoot. The game looks really good, I think. I was really enjoying my time with it, actually. With the inventory, you do kind of run out of space pretty quick, but sometimes you can find an item to make the inventory a little bit bigger. But there's a couple boxes and stuff around where you can store stuff. I mean, this game does a good job of giving you enough supply overall because there is a lot of money around. So there's actually a store that you can go to on the ship and use all this money you collect to buy more ammo and buy basically what is first aid. And because there's so much money lying around, even at moments where you run out of ammo, you know you have that place to go back to buy more. So as far as buying items at the store, I can only buy ammo or first aid. It is a little machine though, where it's like you're buying a snack or soda out of the machine. It seems like there's a lot more slots for more items, but that was the only two that I was allowed to buy during my short experience with this game. The demo itself that I had played was a good length or so. It took me like a good hour or so to get through. I was able to go through a good part of the ship and I could explore a lot of the rooms and all that. I was able to really take my time with it. And then once you solve this main door puzzle is kind of where the demo ends. And as far as like the story goes, the character you play is kind of, there's not much to him. The character doesn't really talk at all. You're just kind of there. And what you learn of what's going on is based on stuff you're reading. So the character you play is kind of bland. The character doesn't really talk. You're just kind of there. It's just like, oh, you're playing this character, here you go. There are two characters that I met during my playthrough of it that I could talk with, and it would kind of give me missions of sorts. But most of the time it's just you. And as you're going through, then you come across these zombie looking guys and you gotta take them out. Now I'll say this, these things took a lot of bullets. I'll say that. I only ever had really a pistol, but there were hints of other weapons that you could get, maybe like a shotgun of sorts. And you would be shooting a lot of bullets at these enemies before you take them down. Even if you try to headshot them, it takes a lot. You do get a little knife that you use at the beginning too. You can break boxes, just like kind of Resident Evil, same sort of concept. And even then, like, just slicing those out is kind of a last resort. You can get overwhelmed. If there's like one or two enemies, it takes so many shots, they can overwhelm you. So you kind of have to maneuver around, and it's tough though, because there are hallways. You know, you only have like so much space to move around. Most of the time you're in these hallways with a bunch of doors, and if you get stuck with these enemies, you either have to go back the other way or just kind of run past them and take some hits. And they do some damage. About 3 hits or so, and you can die pretty easily. Now, as far as the saving goes, there are these phones that you find throughout the ship. You'll go into certain rooms, you see this red phone, that's your save. You can kind of go back to those at any time as you need. And there's a lockpick sometimes you get to open doors. Sometimes you get a card that you can keep reusing. You just find different security codes to unlock other rooms. Overall, the atmosphere I really enjoyed. The story background lore is told through memos and notes. That's it. Even the characters you meet, they give you a little bit of background, but not much. It's more about doing missions for them. But you learn as you play that this ship is or was inhabited by a certain religious group, and it's a little cultish of a vibe. But it's kind of cool to read the background of it, and the ship itself is kind of empty. Besides these zombie enemies and these two people, the ship overall is pretty bare. And so you're trying to figure out what happened to all these people. And even the notes, it's like, yep, they all kind of disappeared. And those that were left got turned into these zombies. So what's the deal with that? So, you know, with the demo I played, it only would take me so far, so I don't know where it goes. But I'd be curious to see what the story is. It's kind of interesting to have a religious cult group on a ship as a storyline. Now, for me, the worst part of the game I would say that I played was actually like the zombie enemies themselves. The ship looks really good. I think the ship, all the weapons, everything graphically look good. The character models, though, are a little on the subpar side. I wasn't like super scared by them just because they are kind of a little goofy looking. They're a little bit dated in terms of their look, and they kind of have these mushed faces, kind of like of a PS2 game or something. So the zombies themselves weren't intimidating to look at, even though it would cause a little bit of attention because it would do so much damage to you and take a lot of bullets. But I wish that the character models were a bit better, just because they definitely feel like a lower tier compared to the rest of the ship and the environment that you're in graphically. But yeah, I actually was really into this game. If you like Resident Evil, definitely keep an eye on this one. I'm really curious to see what the final product is going to be like. You can play a demo of it to check it out.